I mean, what do you think about today, man?
I think it was very productive, very awesome. And I know when we spoke earlier and I told you it was about to get crazy here.
Yeah.
What do you think about what you saw? We are about to take you guys deep into an uncomfortable zone.
I am on my way to Cleveland tomorrow. First stop is, of course, in Cleveland in the city. I'm gonna enjoy fine dining, and it's gonna be a complete 180 of my day tomorrow night when I go into Lorain, Ohio, and my first speaking engagement will be there. Lorain is a community, is a town outside, it's a city outside of Cleveland. It's about 30 minutes away. Initially I was like, man, I'm going to Cleveland, like Cleveland. And but we found out it was, it's really based in Lorain, outside of Cleveland. And Nick would call me and he would tell me different things about how the community was. And one thing that he spoke about was, man, the real Walking Dead is Lorain, is a part of Lorain. Drugs, heroin, just no jobs. I mean, and people are looking like, where do I go now? What do I do? It's one of the most depressing places in America right now.
But this heroin this is a monster that controls. I've never seen anything like it in my life.
When does the cycle stop? When can you stop this cycle? When does it end?
There's a reason why heroin hasn't been fixed, because there's a war on drugs. What is drugs? Cough medicine, aspirin. As long as there's a war on drugs, there's never a solution.
Anybody's child. It does not discriminate whether you're white, black, Puerto Rican, Chinese. It does not care. It is an American problem, and it is affecting American families.
Search warrants were executed in Cuyahoga and Lorain County.
This affects everyone. Everyone. I mean, it's almost getting to the point to where everybody knows somebody who is addicted to heroin, and it's just a mess.
Yesterday's bust involved the Lorain and Elyria Narcotics Unit.
Police say they found heroin, cocaine, and what they have been searching so hard for, a large amount of fentanyl, a pain med much stronger than morphine.
On 5, a woman was revived by local police with Narcan after overdosing on heroin in her car.
Heroin addiction has a grip on our region as residents of all classes try to catch that next great high at the risk of their own lives.
And 4 people died in Lorain County. Another man just Sunday night.
According to the Ohio Department of Health, there are now more people dying from accidental drug overdoses than car accidents.
It used to be that crack cocaine was the big thing that you would see. Now it's heroin.
I was going to Lorain for one simple reason, and that was to interview Nick Brockmeyer, who I befriended on Twitter. Initially, I was just thinking, okay, I'm gonna interview Nick, put him on my show, get this whole big thing about entrepreneurship, and then Tim calls, and Tim just blows my mind and adds another piece of something on there, and it was, hey, why don't you speak? He said, hey, Stacy, how would you like to speak at our annual event, the Hispanic Fund? So I got hit with this literally a day before I was supposed to head out. But what was going through my mind? Man, fear. I had some doubt of, is this going to turn out the way I expected? So I walked in the mental health building, but it wasn't the mental health building. We walked in the wrong building, right, Shivhon?
Yes. We went in the wrong building.
We went in the wrong building, so I was like, oh wow, it's really It's really real. We ended up finding it. They had to, Tim came out and met me and Shivhon and brought us over to another building. And I was like, okay, great. We're going to have our recording in there. Awesome. I come through the door and I see this gentleman and he has a beard, like a red beard. His name is Brandon. And so I saw Nick, and this is the first time. So, you know, hey, Nick, how are you? And hugging. And Tim, of course, he came out and met us. So we're like, okay, so he's like, hey, you can record here. We got this place. We got this here. You can use this whole room. And we're looking around like, okay, well, where are you going to be? And he's like, well, here's my guy, Brandon. He's agreed to do an interview. He owns a nonprofit. And I was like, wait. Okay, so now I'm thrown into doing an interview with Brandon, and I just had to, I really just improvised it. Hey Brandon, how are you? and what Brandon was saying was important, and I realized that what I was doing was important. And we're going through and you know, he's saying what he's doing and what he has done in the city of Lorain so far, and what he's built and how much he raised. And I think he ran for mayor, right?
People will outly, you know, speak right outly, whether it's on social media or in person. People will send us emails, text messages, the whole 9 yards, and say, hey, you know what? Thank you for doing what you do. Yeah. We really appreciate it. I know I can go into the local grocery store and people are like, hey, you know, thanks.
That's awesome.
We really appreciate it.
That's awesome.
And it's something, you know, and it is. It's great to get that kind of a feedback from it, especially from complete strangers.
Yeah.
And that to me is the fuel, you know, because I don't get paid to do it. So that's the fuel behind doing it that keeps me going, is people saying, you know what, you you helped me. You know, we did a warming drive. We ended up giving away over 400 items to those in need. You know, it's about giving back, about really boosting that morale. And the stronger your morale is in your city, the better your city is going to be overall. The sky's the limit, though. Right. You know what I mean? I think it comes down to, you know, you have to first break the mentality that you have. Yes. And you have to then say, you know, this is what we were. What can we be? Right.
I see him just so hungry to make a change, and I'm like, again, what am I doing here? But I realized as the day went on, I realized I wasn't there to interview Nick, Mr. Twitter friend. I was there for a bigger purpose. And with that comes great responsibility, I think. And I think I was up for the challenge. I sat with these 4 moms, mothers, sisters, daughters who lost someone, close one, to heroin. I just started to cry. I felt their energy, and their energy was, you know what? Thank you, finally. Thank you. Someone is here that's listening to us.
Never thought I would deal with that drug.
Right.
I never thought that drug would ruin my life. I never thought that drug would take my child. Never. Never in a million. If somebody would have told me 5 years ago, your daughter's going to die of a heroin overdose, I'd have told them they were full of shit. She was more than her addiction. And that's what I try to tell people. These people matter. These are our children. They are sick. They need help.
My daughter, she's still alive. She had to move away, leave her kids here, take it home. She's been almost 15 months clean. And knowing that my daughter's doing good, but I have her kid, they miss her so much. It's worth the part.
Yeah. It's every day. There's 4 or 5 overdose calls from Lorain, Ohio, or Elyria. Wow. I mean, it's not something that happens once a week or once a month. No, this is 4 and 5 a day.
Because that's why we're here. Because when BBC comes here, they don't talk to you. Okay? I come here to talk to the people that want change, not to talk to people that's stuck in Steel Mill City.
You do not know. Our kids cannot go to the lake and run on the beaches in the sand in their bare feet anymore.
Can't do it.
They will get a needle in their foot. Our grandkids cannot go to McDonald's and Playland and play in the balls because they might find a needle.
Wow.
This is our world. This is our times. This is reality.
Give some reality-based education to our kids, because if things don't change, this epidemic is just, it's gonna get worse. Right. I have 2 children, one living, a daughter that's 22, and I have a son that passed away November 15th of 2014 from a heroin laced with fentanyl overdose.
It was tough for me to go through that interview because I never lost someone to heroin. I honestly don't know what I could even imagine feeling like.
How do you tell the world your daughter just died of a heroin overdose?
Yeah.
I was ashamed. And one day I was sitting on my bed and I was looking at her picture and I thought, you know what, I'm not ashamed. I did not lose an addict, I lost my child.
Right.
And I will never see my child on this earth again. That is a presence I cannot have again in my life. I miss that presence. I miss her hair, I miss her fingernails, I miss her goofy smiles.
Yeah.
You know, that's what's wrong. We were robbed. We were robbed from something that we should have been educated about.
You know, my granddaughter,
Yeah.
4 years old, knows that her Anna died because of drugs. How do you put that into a 4-year-old's head? You know, we didn't want.
I looked up the epidemic in heroin, and the hotel I was staying in was in downtown Cleveland. And you know, the couple mornings that I was there, I went down to eat some breakfast, and of course they said, you know, what are you doing with the camera, where are you guys going? And I would say, I'm going to Lorain, we're gonna film some people there that has a lot to say about this epidemic. And the person, you know, she was my morning waitress in the breakfast. She was like, that's, you know, and she had a story, and she started talking, and I was like, she's like, you know, I have a friend and her husband was found on the floor, he overdosed with it, and blah, blah, blah. It dawned on me that Lorain could be anywhere, and is everywhere. There's all sorts of Lorains. What I noticed, you know, throughout the whole time was, well, why don't you leave, okay? If this epidemic is here, there's a simple route, and the route is out. You can get out. But they don't want to run. Like, they don't want to run. You know what they want? They want to change. They want to empower change. They want to see change. They want to feel change. They want to know it's changing. They have hope. Man.
I look at Lorain right now, and I hate to say it, and it hurts my heart, but it's one of the worst cities in America as far as heroin overdoses, usage, drug uses in general, fentanyl and opiates and everything that goes with that. And I know, you know, I'm very in tune to my recovery. For 22 years, I was a certified peer recovery support specialist, which I call recovery coach.
Yeah.
And I'm a job coach for people with disabilities. That's where it is, because you can give them money,
Yep.
you can give donations,
Yep.
you could build any foundation, any house, anything. But if you don't help them instill it within them,
That
and
mindset.
their mind,
Yep.
and then it hits their heart, and
Yep.
it touches their soul,
Yep.
and then now they really want it.
Yeah.
That's when they really want it.
Whenever you open the paper, there's things that are going on in our city that aren't that great. But the reality is there's a lot of positive things going on. There's a lot of small groups, individuals that are out there doing their thing, trying to make the community a better place.
Well, now, you know, I see a lot of people stepping up and like a wonderful show like this, you know, getting involved and getting to the real solutions beyond the politics, beyond the money, beyond the major corporations and all that. and just getting to the root of people's planting the seeds.
Yeah.
You know, back in the days when they used to say, hey, it takes a community to raise a child, it takes a village to raise a child. You know, back then there wasn't no Walmarts and Amazons and all that, but people still survived and got by because people cared about people's neighbors and the neighborhood, and you better be careful because you get in trouble not only from your parents, but from them and them. But I see it going back. I see it going back to that. In Lorain, you know, hey, we can't get no worse. We can only come back up to where we've been because the spirit is there. The spirit is alive. And when I go out there and see all these people doing wonderful things, and I apologize for the city of Lorain that you have to see that, and that's your Google search. And now everything is starting to manifest and starting to come out because people are tired. Now we can see them. So now it's getting together, digging deep into our souls, deep into who we are. I didn't want to be Mike D from the streets. That was a character. That wasn't who I really am. You know, I'm Mike Delgado, a man that I love my neighbors. I love my community. I want it to be better for my children. So what I see, I really do. You know, call me a delusional optimist. I've been called that before. I've been called worse. But I'm sometimes delusional, and my positivity is incredible. But I do see a better tomorrow for my children because I'm going to do everything in my power to make that happen.
I love that.
It starts here. I told Stacy and Tim earlier, and I'm going to tell you now, it takes one person to turn on the light. One. And the light's on. I think this city, I think maybe even this documentary can be the thing that sparks a revolution, because everyone you see in this film is pissed, and we taking our streets back. And then you go out into the world and you think to yourself, I really wish we could do something about this heroin problem. Or I really wish that somebody would stop these drug dealers. Well, then do it.
Please give it up now. Put your hands together for Miss Stacy Cross.
People that were so connected to this city that even if they're miles away, Mr. Nick, he gets goosebumps when he comes back because they're so connected. There's a living spiritual breath that comes out of this city. We do too much talking. All right? We talk too much. We got to start backing that talk. We got to start acting. So, ladies and gentlemen, I am Stacy A. Cross, and there is no E in my name. Thank you. It's real out here. I see people that want change, action for change, doing things in their community. There's a room full of people here doing things. What I want to say to Lorain personally is, I looked at YouTube, I looked at Google, I searched you. You're a great place. Your community, your citizens, your people inside want change. And the answer sometimes should come from these people because they have viable solutions. I mean, look at Nick using technology to speak to the community. Look at Tim. He's fighting. He's been fighting for Lorain. All right? These people were born here, raised here, and they don't want to leave. They want to stay. There's so much more to offer in a city, especially when its people will not leave because they have faith and belief in a place that they're from. So I want to say, Lorain, you have people on the ground that are fighting. You have people on the ground that have better solutions. It's about time that you listen. Working on this documentary has changed my life.
Power is taking people, putting them together, and changing the world. That's what Stacy and I just did today. When we shine the spotlight on real playmakers, real
comfort killers, not talkers. So welcome to Lorain. And we're gonna keep you uncomfortable